Welcome back to Dragon's Dogma. Here we are at the character creation screen. We're going to see about making our first character. I had a couple ideas about it, and I decided the best thing I could probably do is just stick with what I know and go completely random as hell. So let's see, male or female? Male. Let's see. Okay, let's go with my normal gamer tag. Let's see. Now, how do I scroll it down? Oh, okay. I'm set to controller, but it still lets me use the mouse. That's actually pretty nice. Confirm. There we go. Okay, moniker. Be interesting to see what we get on out of this. If I remember my old moniker, let me see. Wow, it seems they added a bunch of new names to this for the monikers. There we go. Scout. Let's see, choose a base body. Well, they give you a good assortment. Now, if you want to have a real challenge, start off with this guy. In this game, they actually have different reactions to your height. Weather effects can affect you, monsters, walking through a river. If your character's too small and you're using a lantern, your lantern can go out if you're too small. So personally, I'm going to go with somebody tall. Let's go with this guy. Looks pretty good. Voices. Let's see what we got. Wait a second. Ooh. Some... What? Oh my word. I just can't. I can't. Oh, wow. What do you think, guys? 9 or 12. 9 or 12. I'm going with it. We're going to be a big, hulking squeaker. Let's make some more detailed edits. Now, personally, I like my characters to have the ponytail of doom. Let's see. Stance. Let's see what we got. Ladylike, macho. I like that one. Posture. Timid or imposing. Let's see if I can turn this guy. There we go. So it's hunched back or broken back. Hunched back or broken back. Now let's go with the middle. I think that looks good enough. Yep, we're ready to play. Time to dive into the world of Dragon Dogma. Today, like every day. Aw, I was actually going to read that. Well, you guys can pause it and read it if y'all want. Get off my lawn! I look like one really fat fisherman. Oh man, that hurts the eyes. They definitely didn't skip on the sun glare.
Hear ye, hear ye. The prophets have spoken, friends. The dragon's return is nigh.
And your head looks like a potato.
Strength and help us be rid of the fell beast. The days come to lay down rod and reel and take up the sword.
Ah, this must be our old love interest. Of course, big blast of wind and nobody has any idea where it came from.
It's the dragon!
Nobody believes it either. You know, in a world where there's dragons, you'd think everybody would run. Yeah, a massive 20-story tall reptilian thing covered in red scales. Let's stand on the beach and watch. There he goes, destroying all the architecture. Do you have any idea how much it's going to cost to repair my roof now? He certainly has a lot of wood to throw around now, it seems. I know this game's supposed to be a bit darker and more serious, but when you start playing through, the game's pretty serious and it's got a nice story to it. But as old players who've run through this game a time or two, you start to catch on. There's a lot of little hidden jokes throughout the entire game. Is it just me, or in any RPG, nobody has common sense? Giant dragon, breathing fire. Sure, let's just stand on the beach and let it burn them to death. Oh my word, that sounds hilarious. Now when you grab onto a monster you can do light attacks, but if you do a heavy it knocks you off. Kinda like that. Ooh, a splinter. Not amused. Okay, Sauron, calm the fuck down. I'm the only one who thinks this dragon looks like a giant goblin with his neck stretched out. There's that weird Latin I remember. Dude, get a manicure. And boom goes the dynamite. Seriously, whose body explodes when you rip out their heart? Man, what a bitch. Kind of redefines eat your heart out. Did nobody really stay behind to watch this guy get his heart ripped out by the dragon? And how many people died on that beach standing up to the dragon or just falling over in panic? Nobody sees this giant dragon eat a guy's heart while speaking evil demonic languages? Chosen undead, it is your mission to steal the 8 Dragon Balls and make a wish on Namek. Now here's our first actual big choice in the game. We get to pick our class. We'll need to prepare. So what are we going to take? Fighters, swords and shields, pretty good melee class. Shields are very handy in this game. A lot of small enemies kind of screw you over with their attacks. You'll get swarmed pretty often, so having a shield's pretty nice. Let's see. Strider, daggers and arrows. There are a lot of really far open spaces in this game, and archers can score headshots. So it is a pretty fun thing to do. Just standing out in the middle of nowhere, see a bandit way off in the distance, and kapow! Now mages. Mages are probably the most broken, overpowered, and squishiest class in the game. You don't really get a lot of good armors for the mages until you get to Dark Arisen. But in the main storyline, you're going to have the most powerful DPS with a mage and most powerful crowd control. So in my recommendation, if you want to get hands-on and just plow through the game real fast, I suggest starting off with Fighter. You're going to raise your strength up, and you're going to have a really good melee game, early game. Strider is a bit squishier than the Fighter, but he's good at medium to long range. You'll be able to fend off a lot of flying enemies with your bow and arrow. And the daggers are really good at staggering enemies. Mages, I wouldn't quite recommend going mage right at the start if you're a new player. The magic's nice and fun, but it's kind of hard to get a hang on until you really learn the combat system and get used to your stamina. So, for starters, I think I'll start with a Strider. See, primary weapons such as sword and daggers are combat essentials. Secondary weapons like bows and shields offer support. Now, if we go to equipment, we can take a look at our new weapons here. Rusted daggers tells you your strength damage and your magicka damage. There are enemies in game that are very resistant to melee attacks, and there are some enemies in the game that are really resistant to magic. When you get into the Dark Arisen, which eventually we will be going into that, but for now we're going to stick to main, you will run into enemies that are immune to one or the other, such as, an iron golem. There are going to be a lot of big enemies, so we're going to try and at least kill one of everything, I think. See, now we have clothing and armor slots. Unfortunately, you can't equip clothing under armor, so we're just going to stick with our normal equipment. Now, as for armor customization, there is a pretty good amount of options you can do. There is a leveling up system for your armors. It's a bit of a ways into the game, and I'll be sure to try pointing that out when we get to that point in the game. But we have jewelries, 2 rings at max, cloaks. Now, those will be a big part late game, because you'll have some special abilities that cloaks have. Of course, you have your armor for head, torso, arms, and legs. There are some clothings, if I remember right, that you can equip on the armor, but we'll find out eventually. It's been a very long time since I played. I think this would be a good spot to save and pick up for the next episode. So I will see you guys in the next episode.